everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend, playing lots of games. I have been playing this game all weekend, and this is Skeptics board game, a game of paranormal investigation, which is right up my alley. But I will say right now, if you don't like to roll dice, you might as well click off of this video now because this game is all about rolling dice constantly. I like that, so it's not a problem for me, but if you don't, you probably won't like this game. That being said, I think if you like haunting games and you like rolling dice, this is kind of a must-have in my opinion. It is very thematic. Everything in this game goes well with the theme. For instance, every ghost hour, which is at midnight on the clock, the ghost comes out. And before the ghost comes out, you get an environment card. And it looks like this. And it's always something bad. It's something the ghost basically does to you or does. And like, for instance, these little green markers, originally when you start the game, they're all over the board. They're all locked doors. So when you start the game, you spend a lot of time rolling these key dice to unlock doors. But eventually you get most of them unlocked. There is an environment card that locks all the doors again. I couldn't believe it when it came out. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? But what's more likely? I mean, that's a typical ghost behavior. I mean, it just makes sense. Or you'll get a card that says, you know, you can't get a certain, you have to have double of an icon each time you roll for an entire hour till the next ghost hour. Well, that symbolizes the ghost messing with your equipment. You know, it's very thematic. Nothing in here doesn't fit with the theme. You go around with your investigators and go into these various rooms, and a lot of the rooms will have these little tokens on them like this, covering up a set of icons. And in order to be able to flip that token and see what it says, you have to roll and try to get those icons when you roll your clue dice, which look like that. And you only get 3 actions per turn, so, you know, it's kind of restrictive in that aspect. You can take, if you go to the spot with the magnifying glass on it, you can take a magnifying glass and it will give you an extra clue die for your 3 turns, and then you have to turn it back in. You see the numbers on here, you keep track of them with the cubes. Oh, you know, it gets to 3, used up your magnifying glass, and you have to go back and get another one. There are clues. Some of these tokens say an item, and you get a special item, like here's some of the special items. Some say, well, these are items. Some say special item, which you get, there's 3 special items in the deck per game. So those are a one-time use, but they're pretty powerful power of some kind. And the other thing that these little tokens will say is the word clue. And if it's a clue, there's 7 of these clues lined up when you start the game. And if you look on them, they have a set of icons you have to roll to solve them as well. Once you do solve them, you gain yourself some more of these summon dice, in which you can use to summon the ghost. Normally he only comes out at midnight on the clock, but you can summon him anytime. You can't control what room he shows up in, though. You just have to take a room card and it tells you. So it may be a waste of time, because if nobody's near him where he shows up, like over in this room, you just SOL for that turn because you can't get to him to get any hits on him. The way you get hits on him is rolling these icon sets. And this is the child ghost, and his ability is that or his lingering effect is that you have to get those 4 eyeball ones first. As you can see, I did abominably in this one. I was trying to work out, I was a little confused about the timing of when to do summonings and the seance. You can do a seance after you get all of these tokens turned over. You can do a seance, and that's where you get all the investigators into one room, and then you call the ghost to that room, and everybody on their turn just bombards him with trying to solve as many of these combinations of icons as they can. That's how you win, is to get all of those solved on there before the room cards wear out, before the room cards are all gone. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My video got interrupted a bit. So I took the opportunity to set up a new game, and so you can see the other side of the board. Previous part of the video was the museum, and this is the asylum. And I have to say, I think I prefer the asylum. It looks creepier, and the museum's a little bit harder to get around in, and it has restrictive movement spaces. Some spaces there can only be one investigator in them at a time, because the museum board is designed to be a little bit more difficult, and it is. Not a lot, but a little. So anyway, you can see it with all those locked doors back here again and stuff. And I'm going to do a new ghost. Now, so far, I've played 2 games and I've done the same ghost. I used the easiest child ghost. This time I'm going to use the shadow. And whereas on this game, you're basically you're doing the same thing. You're rolling to fulfill these icon combinations. But with each ghost, the conditions under which you do that are different. They're very creative in their ways, and each ghost has a special ability and a lingering effect. And this ghost, the shadow, has these extra icon combinations that under certain circumstances get turned over, and then you have to solve those 2 in addition to all these over here before you win the game. Now, before, when I ended my last video, part of the video, I was talking about a seance. Once these all get turned over, which you get to turn one over whenever you solve one of these clues. Once those are all turned over, you can have a seance, and I discussed what that was like. I just wanted to reiterate that you can only have a seance once per game. Only once. Now, one thing that I didn't cover is when the ghost appears in a room, you can then do a pull action. You can roll whatever summon dice you have, and if you get one of the symbols, you can pull the ghost 2 spaces toward you, or if he's behind a shut door, 1 space. So say your investigators can only move, or they only get 3 actions, and a move action is just 1 space. So if the ghost was like 3 spaces away, there's no way she can get there and do anything with the ghost, because by the time she gets there, her actions are all done. But if she could pull the ghost toward her, then she could just take like 1 movement, get on his space, and then hit him 2 more times, trying to get some of these combos. It's fun. I really like it. Now, if you played nothing but this game for 2 weeks, would it become tedious? Yes, but I think that's true of just about any game. They've done a really good job of making it, adding variety. There's all these different ghosts, and like I said, each one has different situations under which you have to get these fulfilled, and they're quite creative in making them all different, and they all have a different difficulty. So there's one easy one was the child ghost, then there's some medium difficulty and some hard difficulty ones. And there's other ways that you can make the game harder. You can leave out the special items and things like that. And then just this morning, I explored this that's in the box, which is storybook mode, which, as it turns out, is basically a campaign. So, and it adds threats and things to you. Start with the first ghost, I believe, and you just work through investigating all the ghosts in a row. But it also adds different things to it than you would get if you were just playing the game normally. Some threats and different things. I'm not sure. I didn't read it all thoroughly, but I was impressed that they add this. I will say this, the first time I played with only 2 investigators, and it did get kind of long. You have more room cards available, the fewer players, and toward the end, it got really long. And now, part of that could have been because I wasn't totally, up on what I was doing, and I could have probably won it quicker if I'd, been more experienced. So it seems like it's a longer game. So if you were going to play it true solo, which you can do, I haven't tried it, it would be hard to get things done and it would take longer. It might become too long of a game. I don't know. Then I went to 4 investigators. That was fun, but then they give you less room cards, and if you run out of the room cards, you lose. So this time, I am going to play another game of it. I'm going to try 3 investigators and see how that goes, and eventually I'm going to try it with 1. I know the game developer said that he's played many solo games, true solo, and it worked fine, and he's won some and lost some, so it's possible to win that way. Again, there's still things that I probably am not getting right, so I don't know. But it's very fun, and because I love the haunting ghost themes so much, it's just a game right up my alley. I think they are planning more expansions, I believe. This one comes with a couple of very small expansions. One is the twin ghosts, and one is the, what was the other one? Oh, the entity, which I think is supposed to be hard. And but I think they are planning more expansions. I don't know how big they will be. I would love to see some more environment boards, kind of like in Flashpoint Fire Rescue, where they had more of these floor plan boards. That would be great, and maybe an extra ghost with each one. Would love that. Anyway, it's really fun. It's very thematic, and it's a theme I love. So if it's a theme that you think you would like, you'd probably like it. I just want to point out that I was kind of bored. These are the ghost markers. I was kind of bored by those, so I ordered this little opaline ghost. He's glass. He's a little big, but hey, then you don't lose him on the board. But he doesn't come with the game. Just wanted to point that out. If you want to know where I got it, I can let you know. Anyway, that is Skeptics, the board game, a game of paranormal investigation. I think I've pretty much covered it. Do I recommend it? Yes. If you like dice rolling, if you like haunting, ghost type things, it would be a fabulous game to play at Halloween. And I really think that it would be really fun with other players. Maybe the most fun. Don't let that keep you from playing it solo, because it's still way fun. But I think it would be really fun to have some friends and everybody, because you pretty much have to really talk about what you're going to do and form your strategies. And okay, let's all spread out and we'll call the ghost and see who gets him. And then when you get ready to do your seance, it's like, okay, everybody get in the same room, let's go. That would be fun. So anyway, I hope you had a great weekend. It's almost over. Unfortunately, that Sunday night thing always shows up. So if you have any questions, I'm going to put a link in the comments to where you can get this. You can't find it. You have to kind of order it from the company. So I'll put a link for that in there. And you just have to email the guy, tell him what you want, and he'll get back with you. So I'll talk to you later. Have a great week.